I want to play with watercolour paints in adult colouring books. But not these adult colouring books, which are made with watercolour paper and are easy to use watercolour paints with. I want to play with watercolour paints in these colouring books. Your average, run-of-the-mill adult colouring books. So come on, let's have a play. Let's see if it works. Hello, people of the internet. Look at this beautiful thing. This is the Paul Rubens 5th generation artist level solid watercolour pigment palette. And Paul Rubens contacted me and asked me if I would like to review this, have a play, show it to you on my channel, and I said yes, I'm really excited for it. And as they were so excited as well, they've offered you a coupon, so the viewers of my video can get sent off this by reading the details in the description below. So let's, first things first, let us open it. I'm so excited. This came a few days ago and I've been dying to open it, but I wanted to open it like in front of the camera so we get the full, you know, whatever, the full ooh experience. This palette comes in black, like this gold, fancy. It comes in black and gold or pink and gold, and I chose the black and gold. Oh, there's little bits of paint in there, but hopefully that's not a sign of that everything's broken inside. And let's just have a look. Okay, so it's in a little cover. This is my first proper Paul Rubens palette. I have the pretty, what's it called? Pretty Decent? It's not called that. The pretty one. Hold on, I'll get it. Pretty Excellent. Pretty Decent, Pretty Excellent. You knew what I meant. I have that one, but this is the first proper one I have. So let's open the tin. Nice tin. Standard tin. Oh, all in place. That's good. Let's see, this comes out. See, there's some bits of paint in there. That's not too bad. Yep, nice tin. This can come off as well if you don't like the wobbly bit. You can remove the pin out of there and just have these two pins. God, that's solid. That is proper solid. So let's have a look at the actual paints. And they are nicely tucked in there. There's no two ways about that. Oh, there we go. I've got one out. Alright, let's have a look. So this one's called Naples Yellow, B229. Is there any documentation? There is. Look, it's under here. Watercolour. And then this is in, not in English. Maybe I will translate that and pop the translation on the screen. So let's just pause this here so the translation can show on the screen. Great. Okay, so we know what they're saying is they're using high quality pigments. That's great. And then we've also got this swatch card, which looks lovely. It's got the names in, it's got the numbers, like the product number, so B229. It's got the name in Chinese or kanji font, and then it's got the pigments that it entails. So that top one, Naples Yellow, Lemon Yellow, Cooked Ochre, I think we mean burnt ochre there, Venetian Red, Tan, and Ivory Black. Whew. Okay, now interesting, when you do look at this, it does show you what they're saying is like single pigment, single pigment. I don't know much about watercolour, but I do know that single pigment is good, because it means that when you blend two colours together, you're doing a single pigment and a single pigment. If one of the colours has already 3 pigments in it, when you do a blend, there's more chance of you getting a muddy grey colour because of the fact that you're blending, you know, 4 pigments together effectively. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 out of 24 are single pigment, which is good, I understand. Good. Right, let's get them unwrapped. Let's have a look at them first of all. So they're obviously half pans. They've got labels on them, and they're just in this paper. That's nice, isn't it? That's a little bit more environmentally friendly. as environmentally friendly as art supplies can be. You know, they're not in polythene, as at least. You know, some used to come in polythene and then paper and that kind of thing. So that's what that looks like underneath. Well filled and shiny. Has got a little bit of like a sort of splodging of muck around it. But I guess that's where like bits of, you know, bits of colour have come off of the other trays and they've just bounced around in the box. Alright, so I'm going to undo all of these now and then come back to you when they're all undone. So, does that, has the tray got a number on it? No. So once the label's off of it, there's no way of identifying what the colour is. So you've got to either keep them in order. So once the label's off, the tray has got no markings on it. So there's no way of knowing what the colour is once it's out. So the best thing to do is keep them in order. You know, keep them in the order that they came in. Then you shouldn't have any problems. I'm still going undoing them. I've just undone this one. And it's got like this weird bit of polythene, like a sticker. I don't know whether it's got caught in during the pouring process or whether there's like a little piece of polythene sticking out of that one. So that one, the one before it was quite messy as well. But hey, they must be poured, isn't it? Because the difference is, you know, when you see cotton ones, and cotton ones they're like extruded, so they're like hard lumps that have come out of like a sausage machine type of things. I think these are poured, so they will be a little bit more organic looking. I'm assuming they are by that. And I read just, you know, the translation about the filling process. Okay, that's it. It's all ready to go. So, I need to swatch these. But am I going to swatch them on watercolour paper? Interesting. I don't know. Because the reason why I wanted to review these is because I have wanted to watercolour in colouring books for a while. And I don't mean this type of colouring book. These types of colouring books have watercolour paper. So this is Watercolour with Me in the Ocean. This is watercolour paper. This is Painterly Days by Kirsty Rice. This has watercolour paper. And this is a Bird's watercolour art pad. These all have watercolour paper or paper that's good for watercolour. And, you know, these allow watercolour to be watercolour, to allow them to sort of... They're probably sized. The paper is probably sized. And what sizing does is it impregnates the paper to allow them to be more, the paper to be more waterproof, basically. So, you know, it's either a sizing is either put on top of paper or it's impregnated in the manufacture of the paper, and it makes the water not soak through, sit on, give you more playtime, so colours can blend and merge, and you can do amazing gradients and all this kind of stuff. And even this cheapo pad from you know, Decatime, this isn't, I don't think this is sized, and I don't think this is watercolour paper, but it's thick, it's a cardstock paper, so it would give you a little bit more time to play. And this, I've coloured in this with watercolour before, and one of the problems was if the paper is absorbent, you don't get much playtime. You're really just getting the pigment and, you know, water and putting it down. And what you want, because you haven't got much movement time, you haven't got much time to play, you want good pigment. Because if you lay something down and it's drying, you want there to be instant colour. You're not going to have the ability to blend it out and wash it out because the paper won't have the right amount of time, moving time. So that's why I'm really excited, because I want to watercolour in colouring books like this, and this, and this, and this, and maybe even this. And these are standard colouring books that don't have sized paper. Now, You can size paper by using something called watercolour ground. So this is Daniel Smith transparent watercolour ground, and you can paint that on. It's clear, and you can paint it onto any paper, and it gives it the property of sized paper. So it gives it a little bit of slick, a little bit of something to allow the watercolour to move around. So this says creates a paintable surface for watercolour on absorbent surfaces such as canvas, paint, paper, hardboard. So basically it will make, or you know, try to make any surface that's not sized into the same kind of plasticky, sizable watercolour mixy round feel. We're not going to do that. We're going straight in. We're going straight into plating into colouring books, and the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to do it in order of, we're going to start with the ones that are more likely to be able to take watercolour. So that's quite thin, which is the best one here. It's thick. That's probably the thickest. So we're going to start with Johanna Basford. We're going to work through, and then these two are the bottom end ones. So if you stick around, you'll be able to see which colouring books you can watercolour in with no preparation, and we'll be using these fabulous paints from Paul Rubens. Right, let's get them swatched on a normal piece of paper. Okay, so I have my paintbrushes, and I have 2 pots of water, one for clean and one for not clean. And I'm no professional here. One of my cups has got Baby Yoda on it. Try not to tip the water out. It says this is my good side, and my other one has the Muppets on it. I'll show you them after. So unprofessional, but hey, that's why I'm here. I'm here for watercolour fun, not professional. It's funny because I sit here and think, oh, I'm going to make this one all professional, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, but the real me is having fun all the time, and that's what I'm about to do. Alright, going to use cartridge paper for the swatching, so not watercolour paper, but not bland printer paper. So this is halfway between the two, because it's actually, so it's just a sketchbook paper. And I am not going to spray down the paints either, because I remember when I was at school we didn't do that. We never used to spray down the paints. I think when you keep getting paints wet and then dry again and wet and dry again, surely that's not good. Should have picked this one. This looks like a nice paintbrush. It's from Cowlin and Wilcox. Oh, I'm so excited about this. Right, Fraggle Rock is going to be me, not Fraggle Rock, the Muppets is going to be me not clean water. Right, first things first. Oh wow, when you touch it you get instant colour. That's one of the reasons why I didn't want to wet it down. Zoom you in a bit, you don't need to be all the way up there. Can I blend it out a little bit? Oh, I can. This isn't on watercolour paper, remember? Very pigmented. Not what I'm used to. Let's see if I can keep up with the colours. That was Naples yellow. Okay, clean my brush. Oh, I need a bit of tissue. Hold on. Got toilet paper. I would go back downstairs to get kitchen towel or use a rag or something, but I've currently got 3 broken toes on my right foot, and I've got it in a like a boot thing so I can walk. So going up and downstairs is not. See how much picks up really quickly, and that's, like I say, I've not sprayed these down. Yes, going up and downstairs is not the oh, these are nice. These are really nice. That was cadmium yellow. Wow, it's just how much pigment comes out. It's just like instant. That's cadmium. Sorry, that one was lemon yellow. This one's cadmium yellow light. Next is chromium yellow hue deep. See how they're going from dry to like instant. Needs a bit more water on that. That's lovely, isn't it? Isn't that lovely? This one is chromium orange hue. The hue meaning it hasn't really got chromium in it, i.e. it's not going to kill you. These are all non-toxic, it says. Next one is cadmium red light. Wow. Wow, that bang of that colour. It's amazing. I've never used proper watercolours, I don't think. You know, artist grade. Next up, Feruline Maroon. Don't know if that's a real colour. Wow, that's a beautiful burgundy, old red colour, isn't it? Nice. Next one, Quinacridone Rose. Oh, they're quite similar, them two. This one's a bit more pink. Next, Quinacridone Maroon is next. Now that one's definitely more pinky. If I hadn't have kept the labels in order, I'd have really thought that one was Quinacridone Rose and that one is Quinacridone Maroon. Because this just got more pink to it, hasn't it? I wish they had labels on the little boxes. Get the next one, which is Diazine Violet is next. So this should be a purpley colour. Looks really black in the pan. See it there, it's really black looking. Wow, that's like royal purple. Look at it. Wow. This is amazing, isn't it? Next one's Indigo. So a blue one. Proper blue, that. The pigment load in these is massive. It's like a lovely denim-y colour. So I wonder when I was reading the Chinese translation, it was saying fillings. I wonder if it meant fillers. And the last one is French blue. The last one on this row, French blue. Oh yes, that's like an ultramarine blue. Doesn't feel as much pigment. Maybe I used a bit more water. Let's look at that. Look at that. That's the first row. Now bear in mind, this isn't watercolour paper, so this has buckled a little bit where the water's seeped in. There you go. Right, next row. I'm actually going to pull that out. Right, here we go. The other thing is, well, you can do wet in wet when you use proper watercolour paint, which is where you make the paper wet first of all. And obviously you can't really do that with non-watercolour paper, because the paper's just gonna absorb the wet before you start. But then again, I guess maybe it will absorb the wet and then the next layer you put on will be pigment. Who knows? Right, what's the next colour? Berlin Blue. So we've had French blue, now this is Berlin blue. Well, I've been to Berlin, I don't remember it being that blue, but it's a beautiful colour. Look at that. Great for kingfishers. Oh. Next one is Phthalo blue. Well, if any watercolour people are watching this going, why are you doing it like that? You don't do it like that. I know, this is playtime. That's a nice colour. That's really like a cerulean blue. But I guess it's not. The next one's called Translucent Turquoise. Turquoise. Also dried the brush and then didn't re-wear it. Wow, what a gorgeous colour. Now don't ask me about this colour makeup, you know, about split primary palettes and cool mixes and cyan and magenta and cyan, magenta and yellow and red, green, blue, split, whatever. That's not what I'm here for. This is me playing with a watercolour palette in order to play with it in adult colouring books. Look at that row of colours. That's lovely. These two are my favourites. Oh, was that Oriental Green I just did? I think that was Oriental Green. So that was Berlin Blue, Phthalo Blue, to Translucent Turquoise, Oriental Green. Next we have May Green. One of my favourite colours in Faber-Castell pencils. May Green. Oh, so nice. It makes you feel all artistic even though you're only doing swatches. Next one is Cobalt Turquoise Dark. Wow. Beautiful. Next one is Olive Green. Oh, that's a nice colour. That is a proper olive green, that. Look. Imagine doing trees and bushes and leaves, and look how dark it is at the top. So much pigment in there. Right, next, Earth Yellow. Yep. That's nice. It's like a yellow ochre, isn't it? Next one is Burnt Sienna. Nice brown. Next one is Venetian Red. Well, that's like a red earth. Look at that. That's beautiful, isn't it? I wished I really knew how to do watercolour well. When I did it at school, we learned about colour mixing and everything. Next one is, I believe it's burnt umber, but it looks really dark. Yeah, oh, brown umber. Brown umber. I wonder if they mean burn umber and it's just bad translation. I think it's very grey. It's like a watered down black, a charcoal, no, not charcoal grey, like a, well, like a charcoal grey when you're using charcoal sticks. Okay, the last one is ivory black, so this one should be black. Black, 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 black. And that's drying down, it does look a bit more brown compared to the black. Let's grab a bit more of that. There we go. So, that's all the colours. I'm really nervous about using these because I don't know how much water to use in colouring books. Now these are actually, they're still wet. I wonder how much they dry down. Oh, look at that. That one does look like quinacridone rose rather than quinacridone maroon. I don't know. Maybe I'll look at, I've not watched anyone else's videos. I know some other people have got been sent these and I've not watched any videos because I never do when I'm playing with things. Alright, let's do the colouring books now. Zoom you out and start on a Johanna Basford. Oh! Try not to drink the water. Drink me tea, drink me tea. Cheers everyone. Alright, here we go. Let's find a picture. I should do that first really. Something with some biggish spaces in it. Oh, these are good. You know, I am going to take that off because that does bug me. Okay, so I'm just pushing that through that end with a pin, just to pin off this badge, and then I'm pulling out the pin, you know, the holding pin from there, so I can then remove this tray. and then keep the pin separately, and that just gives me more. I'm not I don't know whether I'm going to blend and mix and all that kind of stuff, but if I do, I'll do it over here. Right, let's go back to my picture. I've got paint all over me. Of course I have. It's how I roll, isn't it? Let's go back to the picture. Right, let's do this. I'm gonna have to blend, because I want to do a light pinky colour for this flower here. So I'm going to use that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That one. It's like 9. Just put a bit down. Put a bit more water. It's like, how do you lighten it up to do a light pink? Do I just put a yellow in with it, or would that make a peachy colour? Oh no, it does lighten it up. You're all watching game. Of course it does. But this is what I'm here for. I'm here to play. Okay. Just move that out of the way so I don't accidentally put the box in the wet paint. I've now got this on my little tray here. Let's zoom you down. Okay, that went down quite smoothly. It's probably a little bit wet on my brush. I could have dabbed a bit off. I kind of feel like I want my Tim Holtz air dryer to dry it down. It hasn't gone through, so I haven't gone too much water. And you can't see the little dots. You know when you put too much water on something, or use water-based markers, and you get the dots of the paper sucking in the water. So you get dark dots. I haven't got any of that, so that's good. So I might as well finish this flower. I like the way it's coming out. It makes me feel all arty. That one did look a bit darker, didn't it? Even though I'm using the same blob of paint that I've got here. But maybe it'll dry different. It's all in nature. Things are different colours, aren't they? So I've got my little, over here, I've got that on there. Right. Let's leave that there. Come back to it when it's better dry. Let's see what he did on the other side. So there's a little bit of buckling, especially that one that I went over twice, but it hasn't gone through. Nothing's gone through. All right, so that was watercolouring in Johanna Basford. Let's put that somewhere. Right, the next book is this one, Beatrix Potter. I bought this to actually watercolour in because it's got nice big pictures. And I've not done anything with it. I want to still use this red because I've got it mixed up. That's Mrs. Tiggy Winkle. Okay, there's some little flowers here. Let's do these on the side of Mrs. Tiggy Winkle. Just bring it down a little bit. I'm sorry if my head's in the way at any point. Okay, good-o. Here we go. This paper feels just as nice as the Johanna Basford paper. Again, it feels like it's got a coating on it of some kind because this is not soaking in. I'm sure if I had a load more water, it might wet the page a bit much. I love it. Let's do the next one. Oh, it's so nice. A bit funny there. I think I touched it. Alright. So, let's have a look at that. Put that to one side and let that dry as well. That really didn't buckle at all. There's hardly anything on the back. Look. This paper feels like the best paper so far. Look at that. It's beautiful. Next. The lovely Rita Berman. Oh, this is so much fun, isn't it? Right, I've coloured in this. Oh, this one's got really... I need to find something with... Oh, that looks like a nice... I don't want to ruin this one. Tulips. We can do one of these tulips down here. Bit more water on my palette. It's a nice colour for a tulip, actually, this. Right, I'll zoom you down again. That's it. The good thing about how transparent they are, you can see the lines really underneath it. Oh no, I'm going to start colouring, watercolouring in all my books now, aren't I? Went over the line there a little bit. The good thing about using watercolours as well is you can put a coat on, and then as a, as an undercoat, a basing as it were, like what people do with alcohol markers. You can base with these and then go over with pencils. So this one is a little bit more absorbent. You can see the dots. See the dots of the pigment soaking into the paper being wet and soaking in. But again, it's worked nice just on this, isn't it? Let's see what it's like on the other side. I have a feeling it's by the dots it's going to have soaked in a little bit more. No, not really. There's nothing come through. You can see a bit of a shadow, like if I hold that up there you can see where the colour was. No, you can't actually. It looks like it was just about as much wet as that could take. Any more and that would have come through and buckled. That's nice, it's got like a little orangey colour. Oh, isn't that nice? Oh, that's nice, that. Next is this one. Now, this is a colouring book that when my mum first started colouring, my mum coloured in. And this is acrylic paint that she did this with. We call it Tiger with Numbers. It's a long-standing joke. And I have played about with it with, look, this is watercolour markers in it, testing different things. But it's quite decent. It's not terrible paper. It's quite a cute little colouring book. Look at that dragon page. It's nice, isn't it? Oh, this one looks nice. Stained glass flower. These bits over here, which say 6. And maybe I need a bit more pigment, I think. Because it looks like it's gone a bit watery. Okay, I've used the same colours as I used before. Definitely got more pigment going on. This is what I've mixed up. It's a very orangey sort of colour. Here we go. Oh yeah. It's so relaxing. I think it's more relaxing than pencils. Quite like doing in a stained glass book. You're going to get those sort of like the different colours. So that's going to dry a bit lighter than that, which is good in stained glass. I'm doing 7 and 6 at the same time. Oh well. It's not a work of art. No one's going to see it. We're just seeing how it works in this colouring book. I would say the paper in this book is probably similar to the paper in a Lulu Mayo book. I could have done a Lulu Mayo book. Okay, so that's that. Let's pick you up a little bit and see what that is. Still wet there, look. Oh, you can still see the wetness. Okay, there's a bit of buckling. Yeah, this paper's definitely thinner than the Johanna Basford or the Rita Berman or the Beatrix Potter book that we used, because there is more buckling going on there. Now I'd say that I probably used less water because it hasn't got the dots. See, there's not been no dots of like soaking through, but it has buckled a little bit. All right, so last, I've got wet colouring books all over the place. So last one we're going to do is the Amazon paper. Yes, let's see how well you can paint in Amazon paper. Get you zoomed in, get you brought down, make sure it's in focus, and away we go. Not being so careful in this book, look, just splashing it on. Concentrate, be neat. And if you start up here with a dark and then blend it down, what I don't want to do is dip it in water, because I didn't do that with any of the other books, so I don't want to make this one unduly wet. I want to do it exactly the same as the other one, using the mix that's already been made. Okay, now let's have a look, see how dotty that came about. I think because there's so much pigment in these, you don't actually have to get it so wet. You literally get it wet, put it down, and there's less water to suck in, and the pigment is bam, just there. So you can see has gone a bit dotty where the water is soaked in, but not too bad, not terrible. And this one's got black on the back, but you can see that obviously it's come through wet kind of thing. It has buckled quite a lot. But then this is, what is this, like 90 GSM? It's not the thickest paper in the world, is it? All right, let's go back and see how things have dried down. Yee, so excited. So here's my world of flowers. So they have dried down. The one where I did the second layer is, this is all dry, is really smooth, and these ones are a bit, you know, liney. Let's have a look what it's like on the other side. Like, there's nothing at all, not a hint. You can probably feel a little bit of a wobble, but no worse than when you've done it, you know, with pencil and you've put pressure on it. Definitely hasn't buckled, as it were. I think if you did the whole page, it probably would. I feel like I want to do I want to go over them again? No, the colour's all wrong to do it now because I've remixed it in a different colour. What I'll do is at some point I will tidy this page up by going over it with pencils. So nice. That was, well, that's dry though, so I can close the book. Next, the Beatrix Potter colouring book, and that has dried beautifully. I don't know whether I was more because of the smaller size that I blended it out better, or I was just more proficient because I'd done it for 5 seconds. Little bit of buckling, tiny little bit of buckling there, but it is dry, so that has dried down nice. This is the book that I really want to watercolour in. That's really nice. Okay, Rita Berman. And this one was, I should have probably mixed up a little bit more paint, but that is beautiful. It almost looks like a pastel. That's so nice. If you couldn't see the fact that I went over the edge and I've got a bit splodgy, that looks like a printed colour. So smooth. I wish I could do it like that all the time. Be that, you know, even all the time. And maybe you can once you practice. This is my first go. Little bit of buckling, not a lot, but that would be lovely to then do all of those, base them all of those, really pastel-y. Really like that. Okay, what was the next one? Oh yeah, the colour by number. Not exactly the most. But interestingly, that one still feels wet, as though this paper has got something in it that lets it sit on it for a little bit. Very buckly at the back. Dried fairly evenly though. Look at that number one with number 7 on it. Fairly evenly. You know, one thing I have determined is that you can watercolour in adult colouring book, any colouring books, as long as you don't use too much water. And then this is the Amazon paper. Again, that's really even, isn't it? It dried evenly. Yes, it buckled really a lot. See, this is dry now, and that, I'm just making sure it is dry. Yeah, definitely dry. But you still did it. I mean, to be honest, you wouldn't want to go over it with a second coat. You wouldn't want to go over it with anything. I mean, if you went over it with pencils and you were gentle, not hard pencils, it'd have to be soft pencils, it would be all right. But yeah, it wouldn't be my first choice, watercolouring in a Amazon paper book, but it took it. All right. So that has been us playing with this beautiful Paul Rubens watercolour palette that was sent to me so kindly by Paul Rubens in adult colouring books, and I have really enjoyed it. I'm going to finish off that Rita Berman one now. I'm going to mix up some new colours, but yeah, so proof that you can watercolour in any adult colouring books. I mean, I do think that you probably need to have good watercolours to do it with, you know, because when I tried it before, I tried it with these when I did it before, and I had to sort of like G them up so much to get any pigment that it wasn't a fun experience. But this has been a really fun experience. So yeah, thanks very much to Paul Rubens for sending this to me, and thanks very much everyone for watching, and take care. Thanks very much. Bye.